Good morning, guys. So yesterday we have started performance testing life cycle, and we discussed at a high level, right? We will complete that performance testing life cycle today, and I will start requirement gathering, and I will share the requirement gathering questionnaire and test plan document template today. So we have some training handouts, so which I will be sharing on demand basis or on need basis whenever we complete the concept, right? So this is performance testing requirement gathering document, and this is for test a simple test plan document. I will share an elaborated test plan document also, which will be having 30 to 40 pages. However, this is a simple test plan document with 7 to 8 pages. Nowadays, this is enough. So no one is looking for 30 to 40 pages of elaborate test plan document, because right now most of the companies are using Confluence. Confluence, for con I hope everyone knows Confluence, right? So everyone is using Confluence. So I'll show what is Confluence and how do we track the artifacts, project artifacts in Confluence. Most of the companies are using this Atlassian Confluence and Jira tool for defect tracking and all those, right? So we'll see this later on. So how to, like you can create a free, it's free up to 10 users. So we'll see how to use this Confluence as well. So once we complete scripting and all this, then we will discuss these concepts, guys. Okay. You can keep this in your CV as well. You can keep this, Jira and Confluence in your CV as well. Clear, guys? Now, fine.
But what is Confluence?
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. So all the project that's what I already mentioned, right? All the project artifacts will be maintained in Confluence. What is meant by project artifacts means all project documentation, basically. All the project documentation will be maintained in this Confluence. Got it?
Oh,
1 second, guys.
Project documents.
Project artifacts. That means project documents. Right? So please remember this terminology. Okay. So please remember the terminology, because they may ask you, interviewer may ask you, like, where do you maintain your project artifacts? Right? So you should know what is the technical term. So when you, particularly those who are going with experiences, right? Now, so I'll share this, project artifacts, or all the project artifacts will be stored in Confluence and Jira. Jira is used basically for as a defect tracking tool, isn't it? So we'll discuss some more tools, where we maintain the project artifacts. Right. Now, so let's go to the performance testing life cycle that we are discussing, right? So yesterday we discussed about RFI and RFP, and we started, I started explaining about requirement gathering, right? So I think I gave an introduction to requirement gathering. And while doing requirement gathering, right? So, we sometimes we may need to do POC. And once this, POC is done, we'll prepare a test plan document. Right? And we need to get a sign off from the client. We need to get an approval, formal approval or email from the client, so that there will not be any discrepancies in the future. There will not be any conflicts in the future. And what does a test plan document contain? So we have a separate slide for that. So test plan document will contain what is the objective, what are the timelines, and what are the critical business flows, right? What is the application architecture, signed off NFRs, performance test scenarios, are critical business flows of the application. What would be the performance testing approach, and test environment details and scalability percentage. I'm muting everyone because there is some background noise from few participants. Yes, if you have any queries, please unmute yourself, please. Right? Test environment details and test data details. Test data details means Who will provide the test data? Who is responsible for creating the test data or providing the test data, right? Either the client is responsible or performance testing team is going to prepare. And apart from that, you will have something called RAID matrix, RAID, RAID matrix, where R stands for risk, A for assumption, I for issue, D for dependencies, any dependencies in the project, and project plan and timelines, which I already mentioned. What is the plan for the project and timelines for the project, and non-functional testing team member contact. So who will be, see, one person from the performance testing team will be acting as a POC, point of contact. Okay, where here POC stands for point of contact, guys. So depending on the context, you need to understand. So POC stands for proof of concept as well as point of contact. So depending on that context, you need to understand. Clear, guys? So one person will be acting as a single point of contact. We also call this as single point of contact or SPOC. Okay, SPOC. SPOC means single point of contact. So we'll provide that, SPOC contact details in this section, non-functional testing team member contact section. And then we will have in scope and out of scope and a sample test report. So these are the components. So these would be the components of a typical test plan document for performance testing. Clear, guys? These are the components of a test plan document. I'll share this test plan document to you as we discussed. And you can use this as a template. You need to use this as a template, and whatever need to be changed, right, modified, right, we mark that in yellow color. For example, this time may change from project to project, so that such things will be marked in yellow color background, right, before, so that before sharing it to the client, you need to update this very important details which you need to update it before sharing it to anyone else. Clear, guys? And those are variables, those are subject to change. Clear, guys? I'll share this test plan document after the session. Now, so once we prepare a test plan document, right, as we discussed, we need to get approval from the client, right? And while doing the test plan document itself, we may also work on the effort estimates. I'll also share this template for effort estimates, how to do effort estimates and who will do that. Of course, your team lead or project lead will do that. However, like I will explain, I will briefly explain how do we do effort estimates. Clear, is because when your team lead asks you to do, like, how many days you require for complete scripting, you also should know, like every team member should know, how do we do effort estimates, or how to give the ballpark figures of project schedule, how many days we require for scripting, test execution, test data preparation, etc. We need to, at least every member should know a ballpark figure, right? Means approximate number. And then once we get a sign off from the client, right, then we will start the scripting. Everyone will start working, every team member, junior team member including junior team member, will start working on the scripting, right? Your team lead or project lead may not be working on scripting. He will be mostly working with, communicating with the client and documentation work. He will be taking care of documentation work and communicating with the client, effort estimates, right? Reports preparation and all this. But all the junior team members will be involved in the scripting. So they will also get involved on need basis. Suppose if you are stuck with some issue in the scripting, so your team lead or project lead should be in a stage to help you. Clear, guys? Understood, guys? Your team lead or SSCs, senior software engineers in your team, should be able to help you whenever if you are stuck up with some unforeseen issue. Okay, but don't expect that they will do all your work, right? They will not do all your work, obviously. And once you are working on the script, right, once you complete your scripts, someone should review your script. Some senior team member should review your script, or your team lead project lead should review your scripts as a mandatory thing. Because you may feel that you have done everything perfect, right? But that should be reviewed by someone else. That should be reviewed and certified by someone else. The ultimately, at the end of the project, or in each phase of performance testing, we'll be delivering the scripts, right? So I think yesterday we discussed it, right? What are the deliverables in each phase, isn't it? During that discussion, I mentioned that. Hold on. So where are the deliverables? One second. So in this deliverable section, we will mention, what are the deliverables in each phase. When we are doing, testing, right? Test development means nothing but, when you are doing scripting phase, this is nothing but scripting phase. Okay, let me elaborate it. Scripting phase. So we are supposed to share the performance test scripts to the client. Okay. So once we share the scripts, if something is wrong, right? If someone is technically good on the client side and if they found that something is wrong, badly wrong, right? So it doesn't look good, it will end up in escalations, isn't it? So someone from your team should review your scripts. That's mandatory. Even though you don't have that practice in your project, so it's high time that you can ask them to review your script. You can ask some of the team members to look into your scripts and do sanity testing of each performance test scripts. They need to do sanity testing, means they need to run the script and verify whether everything is working fine or not as per expectations, right? And then once it is done, we will set up the test environment, right? So we do performance testing, in which environment we do this performance testing, guys? We already discussed this before.
Test and engineering.
Test environment.
Right. So there will be a dedicated test environment for performance testing. And we are supposed to do testing in that performance test environment or engineering environment. Some organizations call it as engineering environment. So we need to set up the tools and all those in the test environment. Okay. Required tools and all in that test environment. We will not be doing testing from our office laptops or desktops. So please remember this. So we should not do testing from our office laptops or desktops. We should do testing in a separate environment called performance test environment. And before that, we need to set up that environment if it is not existing. If it is existing, yes, we need to validate, we need to check whether we are able to access the environment or not. And we are able to run the scripts from that environment or not, right? And next comes important thing is smoke testing or sanity testing or a dry run or a trial run, right? So all these are one and the same. Whether some people, some organizations call it as smoke test, some call it as sanity testing, some call it as a dry run or a trial run or a shakeout test, right? All these terms are one and the same ways. And what is the objective of this is to fix any script issues or environment issues or test data issues. The objective of doing this smoke test, sanity testing, dry run, and all this kind of a trial run. Before starting the actual load test, we will do a trial run, right? And objective of doing this is to find out any script issues or test environment issues. Is it clear, guys, or any queries? Guys, is it clear or any queries? I'll take a pause here. Any queries? I'm expecting some queries here. Am I audible, guys?
Yes, Pawan, you are audible.
Yeah. So any queries here? So if not, I will ask some queries. If you don't have any queries, I will ask some queries.
So regarding putting up
the smoke test means we are performing initial load test with some number of users.
Less number of users, correct?
Okay.
yeah, Pawan.
And it could be for 1 hour or 2 hours duration.
Now, smoke test we don't do for 1 or 2 hours. So load test we will do for 1 or 2 hours. So whereas smoke test, so it's enough if we do for 15 to 30 minutes or 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Regarding the setting of the test environment, so if we want to set up the new environment which is not there in this, so how come we'll know? So what are the requirements? Does the client provide any metrics?
Yeah, good question. So whenever we are setting up the test environment, right? So client will provide the machines first of all, right? The required machines will be provided by the client. And then, what tools we are going to use for performance testing. So we did a POC already and determined the tool, right? Isn't it? And we developed some test scripts using some performance testing tool, isn't it? So now we need to set up the tools in the environment, in the test environment. suppose you are using JMeter, you need to set up, JMeter, and to install or to set up JMeter, first you need to have Java on those machines.
Yeah.
So if you don't have Java, you will set up or you will install Java on those machines, the required version, and then you will set up your JMeter on that machine.
Okay.
And you will check, you will also check whether your application is accessible from those machines or not. Right? So all that comes under setting up the test environment.
Yeah.
Yes, Bhavana, have a question, seems like.
Yeah, sir, please explain that checkout test terminology. I'm not getting checkout test.
Okay, sanity or shakeout test, all are one and the same. So basically, before starting the actual load test, so we will do a trial run. Okay, so you are in Mumbai or from where you are, Bhavana?
Mumbai, sir.
Mumbai, okay, okay, fine. So like say, okay, those who are in Hyderabad are those who know about metro, right? Those who have seen that construction and progress of the metro rail, or we can take not only metro rail, any other example. So I'll come to we'll discuss that. So I would like to like explain this metro rail example. Those who are in Hyderabad or Bangalore or Delhi, right? So did you ever observe like when metro construction is going on?
Yes, sir.
Right, so you might have observed that, right? So before before opening the metro rail for public, those who are in Hyderabad particularly, because I used to see that like I was in Hyderabad for the past 15 years, right? So when metro rail, before metro rail was opened for the public, they used to do trial run almost on a daily basis for a couple of months. How many of you observed that, guys?
Yes, sir. I have
Yes,
observed.
I
Yeah.
observed.
It was really the most
Mm.
exciting days, one of the most exciting days, before metro rail was started in Hyderabad. So after metro rail was started in Hyderabad, the entire Hyderabad picture has changed, isn't it? How many of you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
So of course, the cost of living also has increased manifold, right? Multifold, sorry. The cost of living also is increasing multifold. Real estate prices, everything, basically that has brought a lot of good connectivity after this metro rail was launched, isn't it? And see, even myself, when I am starting this classroom training, right? So we are choosing a location near to metro so that it will be accessible to everyone, right? So by the way, like we are starting from next week. We are starting classroom training. I think you might have observed in my status. How many of you observed that? I'm not sure whether you have observed the status or not. So we have set up a classroom adjacent to metro station. We have to do that because otherwise people will not be, will not be ready to come, will not be ready to travel. Those who have to come from a far away location, isn't it? So it has brought connectivity across the city, isn't it? And population also increased like that. You know what is the Hyderabad population nowadays, as per the recent statistics? Anyone? Before metro, we can, if you want to speak like, so we have to compare like before metro and after metro. Any idea, what is the population of Hyderabad city now after metro was started?
It has crossed 2 crore.
4.5 crores.
Okay.
Hyderabad population is 4.5 crores now. Before metro, it was somewhere around 1.5, 1.5 or 2 crores. Okay, fine. So before opening that metro rail to public, so we have seen many days like they did trial runs, isn't it? Yes, be it Hyderabad metro or Bangalore metro or anywhere, right? They will do some trial runs, isn't it, guys? For couple of months, not just 1 or 2 times. Did you observe that, guys? How many of you observed that?
Yes, I agree.
How many of
Yes.
you took selfies while that is going on? Right. So the same way, before starting the actual load test, right? So we'll do some trial run. We'll run all our scripts together. We'll do a trial run for the load test. Once we make sure that everything is working fine, once we make sure that all the scripts are, there are no script issues, there are no environment issues, there are no test data issues, then only we will go for the load test. We will start our load test, because before starting the load test, you need to inform your client. You need to inform your client that we are planning to do a load test, say tomorrow or day after tomorrow, right? And sometimes client also will be joining, client will say that we also want to join and see how the test is going on, isn't it? At that time, if there are some script issues or environment issues or test data issues, it doesn't look good. Yes or no, guys? It will result in, not only it doesn't look good, it will result in escalations, saying that, these guys are not prepared well for the test execution. So must and should, before starting any load test execution, before doing any performance test execution, the actual test executions, we should do this shakeout test or a sanity test or a dry run or a trial run. And then only we have to plan for the load test. Once this goes successful, once this is done successfully, and any scripting issues or environment issues or test data issues are ruled out. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear, Bhavana? It's Bhavana who asked this question, right? You are on mute if you are speaking, Bhavana. Okay. Any other queries before we move to the next concept? Okay. So once this load test, once this smoke test or sanity testing is successful, or a dry run that is successful, then we will plan for the actual test executions. And again, these test executions can be anything based on the requirement, based on the application. We'll plan for load tests, so stress test, etc., etc. And once we complete the low performance testing, right? So we need to prepare a report for the test execution, right? And that report can be a high-level report or a detailed report. It can be a high-level report or a detailed report. And immediately after the test, right, on the same day of test execution, we are supposed to share a high-level report to the client, particularly when you are working in a service-based company, right? So you are supposed to share a high-level report to the client on the same day of the test execution, right? And once you get all the test results, right, so you can take some time and prepare a detailed report with all the metrics. High-level report will be a 1 or 2 page report. But when we come to detailed report, we need to analyze the test results. We need to do the test results analysis and provide our observations and recommendations also in the detailed report. Observations and recommendations in the detailed report, right? And once you are done with this, right, so suppose we will discuss some observations and recommendations that are that are possible with any application. So once we start the test executions, I will reproduce, or I will show some performance issues with some applications, and I'll also explain you how to fix those issues, right? And once those issues are fixed, right, once you say that those issues are fixed, we need to, or else sometimes some performance tuning maybe should be done by the development team or the database team, right? So you'll provide recommendations to the development team or the database team in the detailed report. Able to follow, guys? I'll give some examples here. Okay, let's say I'll give some examples here. Let's say you are having a vehicle, and you are not getting a good mileage, right? You're not getting a good mileage, or pickup is not good. So you will go to the technician, you will go to the mechanic, and you will tell what are the issues that you are facing, isn't it? I'm getting very poor mileage now. That is a major concern for everyone, right? So now the fuel prices have crossed 100. And that is definitely mileage is important for any vehicle, isn't it? So you'll say that I'm getting very bad mileage, or pickup is not at all good, right? So then the chief mechanic or technician, he will go for a test ride, right, to check the pickup and all. Yes or no, guys? The main technician or the main mechanic will go for a test ride. Yes or no, guys? And he will he'll give some recommendations to the team, to his team, right? So do this, do that, engine, tune the engine, or clean the carburetor filter. Yes or no? Or it requires servicing, the vehicle requires servicing. So they're nothing but recommendations. He'll make some observations in the test ride, and then he'll do some, he'll give some recommendations to his team and get the issue fixed, right? And once the issue is fixed, and once he says that the issue is fixed, you will not keep quiet, right? So you'll check the mileage again, or you'll check the pickup again, isn't it? Yes,
Yes.
sir. So
Yes, sir.
So once we provide some recommendations, once the performance testing team provides some observations and recommendations to the development team or the database team, and once they say that the issues are fixed, right, we can't take it for granted. We need to validate the application tuning the same way how we validate your bike tuning, your bike or car tuning, your vehicle tuning, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? So we'll also check again from our side, isn't it? In the same way, once the development team or database team fixes those issues, we need to validate those issues. We need to validate and make sure that all the performance bottlenecks are eliminated, right? And then once all the performance issues are eliminated, then you'll submit a final report and ask for a sign off. This is project closure phase, right? Once we prepare, once we validate the application tuning and performance bottleneck, once we ensure that, all the issues are eliminated, then we will ask the client we'll prepare a final report and we'll ask for a sign off. Sign off means client should certify that all the performance testing activity has been completed to their satisfaction and all the issues are fixed, right? So that is the project closure phase. And once this is done, then we will get the final payment from the client. If there is any pending payment from the client, we'll get it, after we get the sign off from the client. So this is a typical performance testing life cycle when you are working in a service-based companies. Of course, in product-based companies, there will be no billing and all. So I hope everyone know what is the difference between a service-based company and product-based company. Can you list out some service-based companies, guys?
Wipro, TCS.
Infosys.
Right. There are thousands of service-based companies, Wipro, TCS, Infosys, right? All these are service-based companies, Tech Mahindra. What else? There are a lot of other companies, CSC, etc., right? The list is very big. There are hundreds and thousands of service-based companies. And how about product-based companies?
Amazon.
EY, JP Morgan.
EY, JP.
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft. Yeah. Google, Facebook, right? Microsoft. SAP Labs. I'd love to mention this company, right? Very, I worked for 2 years for SAP Labs as a vendor. Of course, as a vendor, not as a permanent employee, but I would like to mention that organization. Really, I thoroughly enjoyed the 2 years in that, SAP Labs. So I'll tell you why. We'll discuss, while we are doing scripting, right? I'll explain you some issues, and at that time we'll discuss. Okay. So why I would like to love to mention that company, right? So and all these are product-based companies. So the main difference between service-based companies and I also worked for Bank of America, and PA Continuum is the product-based company, which does which develop the software and test the software for Bank of America. Okay, this is one more product-based company that I worked in Hyderabad. So BA Continuum is the sister concern company of Bank of America. What does this company does is it will develop the required software and test the software for Bank of America. Understood, guys? They will not do any development services or testing services for other companies. They Bank of America is there. BA Continuum is Bank of America's subsidiary. Understood, guys? Understood, guys? right? And Google, Facebook, how can we forget, these paymasters, ServiceNow, right? Salesforce, these are the paymasters. What is meant by paymaster? All these are paymasters. Google or Facebook, ServiceNow, Salesforce, Microsoft, SAP Labs, all these are paymasters. Means they will pay very high salaries compared to any other product-based company. Got it? Those are paymasters for performance, particularly for performance testing. I think, in the demo session, I have explained one guy with 10 years experience. Guys, these are the numbers that I know. There may be some people who may be drawing more salary than this. So I know someone who was offered 55 lakhs package in Hyderabad from Salesforce for performance testing for PT. 55 lakhs package for 10 years experience. And Visa is another product-based company in Bangalore.
With
And
such
I'll tell you,
type of, on top of performance testing, what additional skill sets are expected by the recruiters or the employers?
we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that later. Yeah. So good question. Who is this?
Sandeep.
Sandeep. Yeah. So on top of performance testing tools, what skill set is expected by recruiters? Yes. So basic Java knowledge is required, right? So I list down that basic Java knowledge is required. The reason is 80% of the applications that we test will be Java applications. Okay, guys, this is not for everyone, guys. For those who are more experienced, having more experience, right? Not for beginners. Okay, freshers and beginners, those who don't have any experience on Java, nothing to worry. No need to worry, right? So, but this is the skill set, typical skill set, that recruiters look for or interviewers look for, apart from the regular performance testing tools like LoadRunner and JMeter. First of all, for performance testing career, so one licensed tool and and open source tool is required, like LoadRunner, JMeter, right? LoadRunner is a licensed tool and JMeter is the open source tool. If you look into any JD, these two will be there, 90% of the JDs. After that, right, nowadays companies are asking for BlazeMeter tool as well. I'll explain, I'll cover BlazeMeter also along with JMeter training. And apart from this, BlazeMeter is a simple tool. You can learn it in 1 or 2 sessions. It will not be more than that. So apart from that, and this weekend, I am planning to record a demo session on BlazeMeter, guys. So those who did not subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe and turn on all notifications so that, you will get the notification as soon as I upload that BlazeMeter. Okay. I'm planning to make a free recorded session video on BlazeMeter and I will upload to my YouTube channel, guys. So this is my YouTube channel, Performance Testing Live Training. So let me quickly show you. So once you go to YouTube, right, if you haven't subscribed, search for Performance Testing. Can you please do this, guys? Those who did not subscribe before, Performance, of course, I know that most of you subscribe. Live Training, or you can search for, just Performance Testing Live Training. And this is my YouTube channel, guys, Performance Testing Live Training, Pawan MGMIT. So please subscribe and turn on all notifications. This weekend, I am planning to make one video on BlazeMeter tool. It would be a public video. It would be a free for everyone, right? I'll show you how to create a BlazeMeter account, how to run the JMeter test from BlazeMeter UI, BlazeMeter website. Okay. So apart from this, coming back to your question, so basic Java knowledge is required. Okay, I'll mention it. Okay, because some people will think that Java coding is required. No, Java coding skills are not required. Basic Java knowledge is required, and Linux and SQL or database concepts. I'll name it as database concepts. And again, basic Java knowledge and basic Linux commands and basic database queries. Clear, guys? You need not be experts in SQL queries. You need not you need not be proficient or proficient in writing inner joins, outer joins, Cartesian joins. All those are not required. You need to know some basic SQL queries. That is more than enough. That is enough, guys. I'll show you. Now we have a list of SQL queries in the PPT as well. So if you are good with these concepts, like basic SQL queries, what is a transaction, what is commit, rollback, what is a save point, right? These are enough. And what are CRUD operations? These are enough for a performance test engineer, guys. Clear, guys? and monitoring and analysis. Monitoring and analysis. If your experience is more than 5 years, any APM tool also is recommended. If your experience is 4 to 5 years or 3 plus or 4 plus or 5 plus, right? Some companies expect you to be having hands-on experience on any APM tool like Dynatrace or AppDynamics or New Relic. There are a lot of APM tools in the market again, right? Elastic APM. Okay. There are a few more guys I'll put in. Hold on. I'll list out some more. Datadog is also one APM tool, I think. Okay. There are a lot of APM tools in the market. So out of which, Dynatrace is very popular. Dynatrace, AppDynamics, New Relic are very popular. But this is the whole list of APM tools. This is a complete, this is a list of APM tools in the market. That Dynatrace, AppDynamics, New Relic, Datadog, Easy, Sema Text, yeah, CA APM, Pinpoint. This is Elastic APM. So these are the popular APM tools in the market. So, and everyone doesn't require all this. Please understand that. So for up to 3 years experience, if you are good with LoadRunner, JMeter, BlazeMeter, and monitoring and analysis concepts, that is more than enough. But you should be strong in this. You should be having strong knowledge in up to 3 years experience, guys should be having very good or very strong knowledge in LoadRunner, JMeter, BlazeMeter, monitoring and analysis. Okay. 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus, you require basic Java knowledge, basic Linux commands, basic database knowledge, and any APM tool, not all this, any one APM tool. Is it clear? Any other queries, guys?
Sir, you told about the scripting, right? So that flow is different for each tool, sir, or it remains the same?
Now, scripting will be different in each tool. However, the underlying concepts will be the same. There are two concepts called correlation and parameterization. So concept-wise, they will be same. But, the way we do them would be different from one tool to another tool. Completely different. Okay. And there are few more script enhancements. We'll discuss that. What are the script enhancements? We'll discuss in the next, 1 week. I'll show you for the time being. I'll show you. Yes. Someone is asking something.
And
Yes,
in
someone.
short, what is a APM tool, sir? Just like what
Okay.
does an APM tool does?
Okay. Yeah. So what is the APM tool and what extra value does it bring? So first of all, APM tool stands for application performance monitoring. APM tool stands for application performance monitoring or management. Okay, management or monitoring. And basically, what is the advantage with this tool is, in absence of any APM tool, if you don't have any, and by the way, these are very costly tools. APM tools are very costly, and small to medium clients cannot afford their license cost. Okay, only large enterprises can afford their license cost of Dynatrace or AppD or New Relic. So it's not a big deal if you don't have this in your CV. You can say that I didn't get a chance to work on any APM tool because I worked in a mid-sized company or a small scale company. Got it? Because obviously their license cost is very huge, and everyone knows that, right? So without any APM tool, what we have to do is we have to do this monitoring and analysis by our own. We need to identify the performance issues on our own with some free tools. Whereas with the APM tool, if you have this is a tedious process. It involves a lot of manual effort, a lot of experience as well. It involves a lot of experience. It requires a lot of good experience as well. Whereas if you use any APM tools like Dynatrace or AppD or something, right, they will pinpoint the exact issue, where exactly the issue is. When you say where exactly is the issue, Performance issues can be anywhere in any application. In any application, there will be multiple components, right? We already discussed. We have, load balancer, we have something called web server, app server, DB server. There will be network layer involved, right? So if you don't have access to any APM tool, right, it is our responsibility if you have some performance issues. Let's say your response times are very high, or you are getting a lot of errors or issues in your application. It involves a lot of manual effort and requires a lot of experience, hands-on experience, if you want to find out the performance issues without using any APM tool. But if you use any APM tool like Dynatrace or Dynatrace or App Dynamics or New Relic, right, they will pinpoint where exactly is the issue, whether the issue is at the database layer or issue is with the load balancer, right? They will pinpoint the issue. So identifying the performance issues will be easy while using these APM tools. Is it clear, guys? So that is the advantage that APM tools bring onto the table.
Hello, Pawan.
Yes.
Yeah, one doubt. So regarding Grafana is also similar to the this APM tools. It will providing insights.
Okay. So I will be covering along with JMeter, I will be covering InfluxDB Grafana tool. Okay. And those are not APM tools, by the way. Those are used only for monitoring, and those are used only for monitoring. Okay. They will not help you to identify exactly the root cause of the issue. Clear? But they are monitoring tools. InfluxDB is for monitoring, and Grafana is for visualizing the test results. So I'll be covering InfluxDB Grafana or Elk Stack. There is one more combination called Elk Stack, Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. Did I answer your query? These are not APM tools, but these are tools for monitoring and analysis.
Pawan, I was trying to explore JMeter, and there is usage of Selenium. What is this context of Selenium in JMeter?
No, it's not Selenium, but it's a Selenium WebDriver. Maybe you came across Selenium with JMeter, integrating JMeter with Selenium WebDriver. Isn't it?
I cannot recall because it's been some time. I was able to see integration with Selenium somehow, but I did not explore that much.
I mean, as a performance, if you are into performance testing, right, you may need to use something called Selenium WebDriver. Okay.
Okay.
You are into automation testing, and again, that's a different story. Right. So you may be integrating, JMeter with Selenium. I'm not sure, like in what is the use case exactly over there.
Okay.
But if you are into performance testing, if you want to measure the, end user experience or browser side performance, if you want to measure the browser side performance, we need to integrate JMeter with the Selenium WebDriver with something called, Selenium WebDriver plugin. So I have one video on my YouTube channel regarding that.
Okay.
Made it long back. You see over here, JMeter Selenium WebDriver plugin. Basically, that is one plugin which helps us to measure the browser side performance or client side performance.
Okay.
Okay.
I will check that.
Maybe you are talking about this one. Okay.
And one more question. There is a term I have heard about: concurrent users and subsequent users.
Simultaneous users. It's not
simultaneous.
Concurrent and simultaneous users. Yes. Yes, we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that once scripting is completed. We'll discuss that. I have wonderful, pictorial representation for that. Okay. So basically, very important interview question. Very important interview question. Your performance testing interview will not end without this question. Definitely must and should you'll come across this question. So what is that? What is the difference between concurrent users and simultaneous users? Thanks for bringing this up. So I got one topic for today's, weekend. Every weekend I have a habit of making some videos, free training sessions. I will include this one also. I'm planning to make one video on this. What is the difference between concurrent users and simultaneous users? So concurrent users means, so users, concurrent users means users are the users who are executing a scenario, who are accessing a business flow, or who all are there on the application, who all are using the application, business flow or an application. Whereas simultaneous users means simultaneous users means these are the users who are accessing the same page at any point of time, who are accessing same page or doing same transaction at any point of time. These are called as simultaneous users. I have some wonderful pictorial representation for this. Let me show you that and I'll close the session for today. Okay. So we have 2 more minutes left. So how many of you understood this? As you are beginners, all of you might not have understood, right? So I'll show you one diagrammatic representation, then you'll understand. So this is a wonderful diagram for concurrent users. So all the users in a particular scenario, or all the users who are accessing a particular application, those are called as concurrent users, right? And they may or may not perform the same transaction at any point of time. They may or may not perform the same transaction at any point of time. And now let me explain this diagram. Suppose if you take the example of any travel application and assume that 5 users are accessing the application, right? Altogether, let's assume 5 users are accessing the application. Now, user one started, accessing the application, and he went through, navigated through home page, login, search flight, select flight, book flight, log out, and he logged out of the application, user one. And user two is still at book flight step, book flight transaction. User 3 is at select flight step, and user 4 is still at login step. So there are 5 users accessing the application, but they are not performing the same transaction at any point of time. All those users are called as concurrent users. Is it clear? User 5 is still at home page, right? Whereas simultaneous users means the users who are doing the same transaction are accessing the same page at the same time. Those are called as simultaneous users. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Or else,
clear.
you can simply do Google search, concurrent versus simultaneous users.
So we can simulate this scenario using JMeter, like
Yes,
at
any
the same
tool.
time.
Yes, we can simulate these simultaneous users using any tool, any performance testing tool. Okay. You see over here, concurrent users tell the number of users for a given test duration, while simultaneous users define the number of users performing the same transaction at any point of time. Clear? Very important interview question for performance testing. Okay. Okay. We have a hard stop here, guys, at 9 o'clock. I'll stop it here. So what did we know? Let me update the pattern and let me stop the session for today. Okay. So tomorrow I will cover, tomorrow in the sense Monday. From Monday onwards, I will cover like requirement gathering. So performance testing life cycle we have done, completed. Okay. And discuss some general queries, right? Yeah. So all right, guys, we'll wrap up here for today. And those who are watching this session on YouTube channel, those who got this session directly. So if you want to enroll for the live training, this is my WhatsApp number, guys. So please save my WhatsApp number. Here is my WhatsApp number. This is from Pawan from MGM IT. And we have very few seats left. And by the way, we have, few seats left in classroom training as well. So I think, I jumped off from that topic. So we are starting classroom training in Hyderabad, very close to a metro station, Miapur metro station. And we have very few seats left because, this is the first batch classroom training post-COVID. No, not first batch exactly. Post-COVID, it is second batch. We ran one batch in Madhapur previously, last year. So this is the second batch post-COVID, right? Before pandemic, we ran one, I have handled some, classroom and as well as online batches as well. So please enroll. We have limited seats available. So if you want to enroll, please contact on me on my WhatsApp number. Clear, guys? And this is my, so let me show you. This is the classroom with, this is our classroom with the seating capacity of 30. And this is our lab, right? This would be our venue for lab practice. Clear, guys? All right, then. So as I know, and one more thing. So fees would be 20,000 for each tool. However, as an introductory offer, we are offering for 15,000 only for this first batch in this venue. Clear, guys? And thanks for watching and have a nice day. And please remember, subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on all notifications and save my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, you will not get notifications from me because we are using a CRM application. So unless until you save our WhatsApp number, you will not get our notifications on new batch updates and free demo sessions. Yes. Right. So let me quickly wrap up by showing my.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes. So this is my WhatsApp number. So please save my WhatsApp number as Pawan MGM IT Training. Yes. Yeah, tell me now.
Yes, sir. What is the timing for assessment, sir?
Assessment, we are not yet done with the week 1 assessment concepts. So I'll take we need some more time for that. Maybe I'll share it next week.
Okay, sure. Sir.
Hi, Pawan. This is Manishwari.
Yeah, ma'am. Tell me.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Yesterday I have a chat with you.
Yes, I remember. Yes.
How long this classes will be done?
So with me, like each tool takes minimum 2 months. Okay. And this batch was started on July 12th, as you can see here. And we are still on, I am still explaining or covering performance testing fundamentals. And I'll be starting JMeter from somewhere in the next week. Actual tool will be started next week. So the first 10 to 15 hours will be performance testing fundamentals. So still, we are done only for 11 hours approximately till now. So we have 4 to 5 more hours for performance testing fundamentals. And then I will be starting JMeter from, as per this schedule, I will be starting JMeter from next Friday or Saturday only. Right? And scripting will be started from next to next Monday. The actual scripting will be started from 31st July.
Okay. I have missed previous classes. Now will I get the previous classes?
Yes, that's what I'm going to explain. Those who missed the previous sessions, right? So meanwhile, what you can do is you can go through 2 or 3 sessions per day because you still have, like 9 days time, isn't it? 22 and 31st. So we'll start scripting, JMeter scripting on 31st, end of this month.
Okay.
Right? So you still have 8 to 9 days more. So I can share all the recorded sessions of the previous, recorded sessions, recorded videos of the previous session. So you can go through them, daily 2 or 3 sessions, and you can comfortably complete by that time. Any other queries?
No.
And I'll share the playlist URL, so you have all the, all the recorded sessions in a sequence, in a proper sequence. I'll share it in the WhatsApp group one more time. So this is this July batch playlist URL, which is having 9 videos till now, right? I'll share a link of this in the WhatsApp group.
Pawan, I'm not in this batch.
Yes, but there is one more batch for enquiries. I'll share it there as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So only confirmed participants will be added to this July 2023 WhatsApp group. Okay, because we previously had some, some conflicts or issues with that. So if I add them to before confirming their joining, I had to face some issues. So that's why, like only confirmed. I am adding only confirmed join participants. to the batch playlist, to the batch
ac-
group.
Actually, I already submitted my fees, so that's why
Yeah,
I'm asking.
I'll add it now. I'll
Sure.
add this.
Thank
Sorry, I missed you. All right then. So for those who are watching, this session on my YouTube channel, so thanks for watching and have a nice day. And WhatsApp me on this number. Save my WhatsApp number, please. Okay. So that then only you will see my status messages or updates on the new batches as well as free demo sessions. Okay.